What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Shooting Fadeaways. I'm your host, Peter. And man, it's been a while. It's been about, I don't know, maybe 4 to 5 weeks since I recorded something. So, damn, man, it's been a while. So, so pretty much what I've been doing is I've been trying to pretty much get new equipment for this podcast. And I was like, man, I really got to spend some money. And then I was like, oh, I'm going to Portland in May anyways. So I decided to just take like about a 4 or 5 week break and just wait till I get new equipment and start recording some new stuff. So pretty much I'm back from Portland. I went to Portland for a weekend last weekend and now I got my new equipment. I had some problems with it actually. We were in Portland, me, my buddy Lung, and Robert. We were trying to set this up, but I had some complications. But I fucking figured it out already. It was something so simple, so easy. But yeah, so that's why I've been pretty much haven't been posting about the playoffs or anything like that. I mean, I probably should have, but I was like, man, I just need some new equipment. I need new equipment. I'm tired of recording with my other stuff that I did have, which is good. Some of them. What's crazy is that when I was recording with a special guest, I did that on my phone because I didn't have a second mic, but now I do. Got all this new shit, so I'm about to release an episode as much as I can this summer. Obviously, there's no basketball in the summer, but I definitely got a few ideas to fucking talk about on this podcast. But so pretty much about the 4 or 5 weeks, all I've been doing is just talking, or not talking, but just hanging out with friends, doing my thing, watching basketball. Obviously, playoff basketball. It's been crazy, but it also hasn't been crazy. So it's kind of like in between. It's just in between right now. But yeah, I'm just gonna get right into it. We're just gonna talk about some basketball right now. Just a couple things in the playoffs. I'm not trying to make this too long, but I'm just trying to let everyone know what I've been up to. So playoff basketball, the first round was pretty good. The only excitement I really had from the first round was the Lillard versus Westbrook. That was a great rivalry. I like that. I actually like that. Obviously Lillard, they won They won in game five. Yeah, they won in game five, I believe. So, and Lillard hit that dagger from like the freaking logo. So that was crazy. I want to get a little more in depth with that, but um, I'm gonna move on for a sec. I'm gonna move on for a sec to the KD and Patrick Beverly. People know about that one. That one is pretty funny. But yeah, KD and Patrick Beverly. Obviously, Patrick Beverly wanted to guard KD during the series, and he did. He was trying to piss off KD. He was just nagging him the whole time. But I mean, at the end, the Warriors won. I mean, but what's cool about that series is as much as I love the Warriors, the Clippers, they showed hard, man. They won 2 games in Orca Arena. That's freaking crazy to do, especially in the playoffs. It's hard to win. It's hard to win at the Warriors Stadium. So for the Clippers to do that and to be a bunch of nobodies, it's freaking nuts. So you gotta give it up to them. You gotta give it to them, and I'm super excited about that. So, well, not excited about it, but it already happened. But it was cool to see that. But I'm glad the Warriors won. But yeah, obviously KD didn't really get into much of it, but his quote during the playoffs, he's like, "You know who I am." So everyone started doing that because they were wondering about if KD is having trouble with the Clippers or anything like that. And his response is, "You know who I am," and he proved it. He won the series. It's simple. He won the series, so which was great. And then going back to the Lillard and Westbrook, so they've been having beef for a while. I mean, it's not like beef outside the court, but on the court, they I guess they don't like each other on the court, but I mean, who does when you're playing against another person? So pretty much Westbrook and Lillard got this little thing going on, and Lillard won, man. He won. He beat Westbrook. Like Thunder suck. They really suck. I mean, they got Westbrook and Paul George, but they suck. They got nobody else on that team, man. They need a shooter. They definitely need a shooter. So yeah. So they suck. Oh man, but Lillard, man, he had a crazy series. That was like his best series. Obviously, I'll get into more with later on in the round 2 and round 3, but that was his best series. He freaking dominated that series. I mean, he was killing the Thunder. So Thunder couldn't stop him, man. They just couldn't stop him. I mean, Paul George quoted that last shot that Lillard took, that that it's called the logo shot because he shot from the logo. Yeah, but he took that shot and he made it. He did a sidestep and made the shot. And then Paul George said that was a bad shot. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Is it really a bad? I mean, it's a low percentage shot, but dude, he fucking made it, man. It's only a bad shot if you miss. That's the only time a bad shot is shot, is if you miss. And not Westbrook, but Lillard made that shit. So you got to give it to him. Like, Paul George is just salty, you know. He's just being salty. He's having a great year. Paul George is having an MVP year and Defensive Player of the Year. You know, like those two, he's actually in the category for those awards right now. But he's just salty. He's salty about that shit. So, but hey, Westbrook, you suck, man. I mean, like, you're actually a great player, but you just sucked in the series, and I don't know why. I mean, you did good. Like, your numbers were there, but it just wasn't enough. I just feel like, man, Thunder need to make some big moves. It can't be Westbrook and Paul George. I mean, it didn't work out with Westbrook and KD towards the end of them being teammates together. You know, it just didn't work out. So OKC better find somebody, but I hope they don't, because I don't like OKC. You already know that. All right, and let's move to the second round. So we got So I'm not gonna really talk too much about every playoff game, or every playoff series. It's just I just want to talk the ones that I do remember very well, which were the Portland Trailblazers versus OKC Thunder, and then the Warriors versus the Clippers, and then that's pretty much it. That's the only excitement I really had. And so second round we had the Warriors versus Rockets. So I mean, I think everyone was really hyped for this because they played in the Western Conference last year. So, and now they're playing in the second round, which is crazy. So, the Warriors and Rockets. What can I say? So, the Rockets suck. They cannot do anything in the playoffs. I mean, let's be real. They beat the Warriors, I think, like 3 or 4 in a row in the season. But that's like, I mean, of course you got their number in the season, but when it comes to playoffs, the Warriors are a different team. They're a really different team. So you have to Oh shit. But yeah, you have to let's see. You have to play at a different level. That's playoff basketball. You have to play at a different level. And I feel like the Rockets were just playing the same level as they did in the season, and the Warriors took it up a notch. I mean, the Warriors are not even number 1 in the NBA right now. They're or not right now, but going into the playoffs, their record was like third best. I think, third best. So, and the two above them were in the East. So I mean, obviously the Warriors didn't really care too much of the season. They just wanted to get into the playoffs and get playoff basketball. So, and that's what they did. I mean, they stepped it up. I mean, KD stepped it up in round 1, and then round 2, obviously the Warriors did have some games in trouble with the Rockets, but it was pretty easy at that point. Obviously you guys know about the whole KD injury in the second round. Oh man. So I forgot which game it was. I think it was game 5. Yeah, game 5, where it looks like he hurt his Achilles, and I was like freaking out watching that game. I was like, man, he cannot tear his Achilles. I mean, he's still young, and this is like the worst injury in the NBA or in sports, because it's your Achilles, you know? I mean, you hear people tearing their ACLs. ACL is fucking bad, but Achilles is the worst. You lose that vertical, and I mean, look, it pretty much ended Kobe's career. Even though he was on the decline, it ended his career because of that shit. So I was worried about that. And so throughout the game, I was just waiting for news. I was like, come on, freaking let me know or something, you know? Let me know what happened to KD. And then they said it was a calf injury, and I was like, we gotta wait till tomorrow to really know, like when they get the MRI and everything. Finds out it was just a calf injury. Luckily, it was just a calf injury, so I was super happy about that. Well, I'm not happy that he's hurt, but I'm just happy it wasn't worse as it looked. So apparently, he won't be back. And let's see. Actually, I'll skip that one. I won't talk about that yet because we're only in the second round. But yeah, they end up his injury. He ends up not playing in game six, and the Warriors actually won. The Warriors won to beat the Rockets, and the Rockets are out. So peace out. Screw your analytics bullshit. I hate that. You know what I mean? I mean, analytics is cool, but it hasn't won a championship in any sport. Baseball, basketball, football, all that shit. It hasn't won. So, I mean, I know you're trying to with all these analytics, but you need superstars, man. And Chris Paul's on a decline, and I just wouldn't put my money on Chris Paul right now. He wasn't injured during the series, but I don't know. He's not a good fit with James Harden, man. He's just not a good fit. CP3 need to go to the Lakers and play with LeBron. He needs to go there and play with LeBron. But yeah, anyways, Harden and CP3, apparently after the game, they had an argument. I was like, I didn't even read about this until today. Today is actually May 24th. Yeah, May 24th. So I was like, what? They had an argument. So apparently they're just having an argument about distributing the ball. And I mean, come on. It's Harden. He has the ball. He's ISO play, man. He's going to be in isolation like 90% of the time because all he does is dribble, shoot, dribble, drive it in, try to draw a foul, or flop all the time, which is nothing wrong, but you can't win. You can win a few games like that, but you can't win a championship because at that point, it's just easy to guard. I mean, you can go to the line 100 times, but you can still lose because, well, guess what? Because your team's not involved, so you're the only one scoring, so you're always going to be tired. So, I mean, are you really going to play 48 minutes and try to score over 100 points against the Warriors where they can score easily over 100 points together? So, that's why it's a team sport. It's better to play as a team than fucking play ISO ball. And the thing with Chris Paul, he does play isolation basketball, but his isolation is setting up a play for somebody else. Usually setting up for somebody else. James Harden's isolation play is just to set himself up. Nothing wrong. You want to score 40 points? Go ahead. But if you're scoring 40 points, where's the rest of the points coming from? Like, it's coming pretty much from nowhere. Like, they get lucky. The second unit gets lucky with fucking Eric Gordon and shit. I don't even know who else is on the squads, but yeah, you just get lucky about that shit. And I just think it's time for the Rockets to realize that shit. They need to make a move. I don't know, man. Like, fine. Patrick Beverley was perfect for that team, you know. At least Patrick Beverley and James Harden. That's a better duo than CP3 and Harden. So maybe they should trade back and get Patrick Beverley. Oh man. Oh shit. Nah, they won't do that. They fucking won't do that. But hey, who cares? The Rockets suck. They're out. I'm glad they're out. Let's move the fuck on. Let's move the fuck on to... Let me see. I wrote this shit down. Oh, the Sixers and Raptors in the second round. That shit was crazy. Damn, that shit was crazy. That shit was fucking crazy. So, the Sixers and Raptors, that went to Game 7. Buzzer beater Kawhi Leonard, Game 7 at the buzzer and won the game. So that shot was nuts. So it bounced 4 times on the rim before it went in. That shit was crazy. I was like, what the fuck just happened? I was screaming. Everyone in the house was like, what the hell? Like, because it was late at night. And then, like, freaking my niece was just like, you're too loud. I was like, I'm sorry. This is a crazy game. This is a crazy game. But yeah, man, that shit was crazy. So I was rooting for the Raptors to win. I did not want the Sixers, obviously. I mentioned in the past, I don't like the Sixers. I mean, it's not like I don't like the Sixers. I just don't like what they did to get all these players. So I'm glad they lost. So they need to regroup and do something. And I hope Jimmy Butler leaves. Jimmy Butler needs to leave. Go somewhere else, man. You're better off somewhere else. And then Tobias Harris, rumors has it that the Kings want him, and Tobias Harris should leave. He should go. He should go somewhere else, man. He's a great player. He doesn't need to play fucking third or fourth behind these superstars. Which he's an all-star, man. He's balling out. On the Clippers, he was balling out. I was pissed when the Clippers traded him. So, and I said it before. I was fucking pissed. I said it on my other podcast. I was fucking pissed. So fuck that shit. Tobias Harris, man. Go to the Kings. Go to the Kings. You'll dominate in that shit with that young team. Yeah, you'll dominate. So fucking go to that shit. But yeah, anyways, going with the Sixers and Raptors. So that series obviously went to Game 7, like I said. It was just a back and forth battle. I mean, Embiid was doing great. Simmons was doing great. Obviously on the Sixers, same with Butler. Then you got Kawhi Leonard. Man, Kawhi Leonard is carrying the Raptors right in that series. He carried them. I don't even know what happened to Kyle Lowry. I love the guy, man. He's a great player. He's definitely a great player. Nothing bad to say about him, but he just didn't step up. Which I mean, shit happens, you know. Like, you do have bad games, but the difference between him and Westbrook is the superstar of that team, and he had to step up. Kyle Lowry, he's an all-star. I mean, he's close to a superstar, but he knows what he does. He knows what he can do, and he tries to do that, and that's the point. Westbrook knows what he can do, but he didn't do it. So that's the difference. So Kyle Lowry, man, he didn't really step up in that series. I was kind of disappointed, but you know, I mean, he's still a great player, and they won the series and they moved on to the Eastern Conference Finals. So it worked out for them. It worked out. Yeah, but Kawhi Leonard carrying that fucking team, carrying the whole fucking country, man. Carrying the whole country is crazy. All right, so let's go to the conference final now. So we're in the conference final this week. So we got the Warriors and Blazers. Obviously, the Blazers are out. They got swept. We kind of knew that. Actually, before I go on, let's talk about the Blazers and Nuggets. That was a great series. I think that went to Game 7 too. Yeah, that went to Game 7. So that was a great series. Lillard, he didn't have the series like he did with the Thunder, but CJ McCollum stepped it up. They won in Game 7. I was surprised. I thought I wanted the Blazers to win, but I just thought the Nuggets they had too much size. They had more size than the Blazers, but it didn't work out like that. So Blazers moved on. Nothing really else to talk about that series. But yeah, now to the Warriors and Blazers. Yeah, Blazers did get swept. It was bad. It was bad because 3 games in a row they had the lead going into the second half or had the lead going into the fourth quarter. One of those, you know. And they were having double digits lead, like 17, 18, 20, you know, points like that. And but the Blazers just couldn't stop the Warriors, man. So the one thing is that the Warriors, without KD and just with Steph, they're like 25-1. So I mean, that's a crazy number. They won like 25 games out of 26 without KD. And so obviously KD's still out from the injury from the second round. He was out for the whole series. We're not sure when he's actually coming back. Rumors has it he might come back Game 2 of the finals, but we'll see. But yeah, the Warriors and Blazers. That's Curry versus Curry. So Seth versus Steph. That was a great matchup. Actually, when Seth Curry did pretty good on his brother. I mean, his brother did score more than him, like when they guarded each other. But I mean, that's just Steph Curry. But Seth Curry he did good. He did well. I mean, he had a great series. I mean, that guy, he's gonna find. I mean, if the Blazers are not gonna re-sign him, somebody's gonna pick him up because of what he did in the playoffs. He stepped it up. I mean, he was knocking down shots game after game. It's just the Blazers couldn't beat the Warriors. Like, no one could step up besides him. I mean, CJ McCollum, he stepped it up. If they had Lillard step it up, oh man, that series, that would have been a great series. It would have been a great series. The Warriors, like, just looking at it, the Warriors were just playing like the little brother version of themselves, and they dominated. That's what they did. Because the Blazers, I see the Blazers like the Warriors. They're just maybe missing like 1 or 2 players, and they obviously lost their center. Everyone knows him. They lost their center through an injury. Obviously, that nasty break in his leg. It broke it in 2 places. I don't really want to get into that because that shit is gross. That shit's hella gross. But yeah, he was. Blazers just need just a few players, man, maybe one or two. They need a better shooter at that forward position. That's all they need. They pick that up, they're good. Their team is solid right now. I mean, sign Cantor again, keep him for another year. That guy stepped it up. So, and I like Cantor. Cantor's a great player, man. I mean, he's not your best defensive player, but he'll get you boards and he'll get you points. And that guy was playing, he's playing his heart out. So, big ups to Cantor, man. Big ups to him. And then we got the Bucks and Raptors. Obviously, that series is going on still. Yesterday, the Raptors just won, so they're 3-2 right now. So Raptors can win on Saturday, Game 6, because they're playing at home. But we'll see. We'll see. I think the Bucks just don't have that shooter, man. They're just missing like a great shooter, and that's what's like pissing me off, because I'm like, man, there's so many shooters you can pick up, but you're not. I mean, you got Middleton, he's a great player, and Giannis is a superstar. It's just his jump shot is just not there yet, and I think that they just need that one freaking shooter that can help him. Mirotic is always hurt. I don't even know where he's been. He would play a few games and he'll just disappear, so I don't even know what happened to him. And yeah, man, I'm just pissed, because even though I wanted the Raptors to win against the Sixers, I'd rather want anybody to win against the Sixers, obviously. But I want the Bucks to actually make it further. I want the Bucks to get to the finals. I even probably, if the Warriors weren't in the finals, I'd want the Bucks to win. But I like to see the Warriors three-peat, because we haven't seen a three-peat since the Lakers early 2000s. So I mean, it would be nice to see one. It'll be nice. There's a couple teams that repeat, but there hasn't been a three-peat in a while. So definitely would like to see one. But yeah, so like the Raptors, man, like Kawhi Leonard's carrying that fucking team. He's just carrying that team. I don't know what to say. Actually, Kyle Lowry has stepped it up this series. I mean, he was killing it the first two games. He's been killing it every game so far, I think. So he stepped it up. So I gotta give it to him. I'm not gonna be surprised if the Raptors win. I mean, they're really that good. Like, they're number 2 in the East. They're number 2 in the league. So they're really up there. I think they're gonna. I do think they're gonna beat the Bucks. As much as I want the Bucks to win, the Bucks are just they're missing that one key factor, that extra firepower, that extra shooter. Like I said, that extra shooter. So, yeah. I mean, I don't want the Raptors to go on, but they're really good. I mean, Kawhi Leonard is carrying that fucking team, so it's hard to stop the claw right now. I mean, he took the whole country, put it on his back, and he said, "Look, let's go hoop." Let's go hoop. That's what he did. And then obviously the whole Drake thing during the home games, Drake's been making fun of like the Bucks and stuff. A lot of people have been getting butthurt about that, and like Drake running his mouth, cheering when Giannis would miss a free throw. I mean, that's what a fan does, right? He cheers, he's happy that they're missing free throws and all that stuff. But I don't know. To me, it doesn't really bother me, It doesn't bother me. It's another fan, man. Like, Bucks, like, just look, man, just take it easy, man. Or not take it easy, but do what he does. Go even louder, man. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do. I mean, it's pretty funny to watching Drake like just jump around, dance, and do all that stuff for as Giannis missed, or when the Raptors like just getting a hot streak. So I think that's pretty funny. Yeah, and then but yeah. So that's I don't know what else to say, man. It's not really how do I say this? It's not much to really talk about. I mean, the playoffs has been pretty good. Those are pretty much the highlights that I think has been good. Hopefully, I don't know. Hopefully, I want to see a Warriors and Bucks finals. Hopefully that happens. Hopefully, I do hope. I have hope for that. Oh yeah. Totally forgot about the NBA lottery. The draft. So that shit was crazy. So the new lottery setup is so different, and it's fucking awesome. So now teams can't tank. Teams can't lose on purpose to try to get that number 1 spot. So, which is fucking awesome. I love that shit. So, the teams with the three teams that have the worst record, will have the same percentage as getting the number 1 spot. And then the next setup is like the next 2, the next 3, whatever. It just goes on from there, like percentage wise. And what's crazy, so it was Who was it? It was Suns, Knicks, and shit. Who had a worse record? Oh, Cleveland. Was it Cleveland? I think so. I think it was Cleveland. Yeah, none of them got the first pick. It was crazy. The Pelicans had like what, a 5% chance of getting the number 1 pick, and they fucking got it. I was like, what the fuck? That shit is fucking crazy. And my homeboy Tommy, we were talking about it before. We're like, man, it would be funny if the Pelicans get the number 1. We were wondering if AD would stay, and the fucking Pelicans got the number 1. That shit's nuts. I mean, there's rumors talking about Zion Williamson doesn't want to be in New Orleans because it's a small market. But man, look, no matter where you go, you're gonna dominate. So man, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can always leave after your contract, but I would like to see him as a Pelican. Him and Anthony Davis together would be crazy. But apparently Anthony Davis doesn't want to stay still. He just wants to leave. No problem with that, you know. And yeah, there's no problem. So Pelicans should trade him right now, or and pick up some young players like from the Lakers, from Boston, one of those, because those two teams really want him. So that would be pretty dope if that happened. But yeah, Pelicans, man, they got so lucky. They got oh man, they got so lucky, and it's awesome. It is awesome because I don't want people tanking. Fucking play the game. If you suck, you suck, but don't rely on your losing record to get a franchise player. And now people can't, I know teams are hella pissed about it and all that shit, but hey, the reason everyone should be pissed is because of the Sixers. They fucked that shit up. And so now everybody pretty much has a fair chance. Even with the percentage, it doesn't matter. Everyone's got a fucking fair chance now. Blame it on the Sixers. And yeah, so if you want to be pissed, you know who to blame, the Philadelphia 76ers, because they tanked and got all those players. I mean, they may have drafted Ben Simmons and Embiid, but come on, man. Like, you lost on purpose to get those players, and you can't forget about fucking Michael Carter-Williams, Okafor, just a bunch of players that they drafted, and pretty much like freaking Markelle Fultz, just all that. They just pick up players and dump them until they found the right two, which was Ben Simmons and Embiid. Which, hey, it's smart to do that, but it sucks to ruin the NBA. And now it's changed the game. It has changed it. They changed rules, and now it's all different. So I'm super excited about that. All right. So so I'm pretty much done talking about this basketball shit right now. I'm gonna have a few more guests up on the show. So if there's anything you guys want me to talk about, just let me know. I'm definitely going to be expanding away from basketball. Not away, but I'm expanding more. I'm always going to talk about basketball, but summer's coming up. Obviously, the finals. Once the finals is done, the only thing that's left is the awards, and then the draft, and then the summer camps, which the summer camps I'll get into because I definitely want to talk more about some rookies and stuff, especially for fantasy. Like those rookie players that you might want to pick up. You just might want to pick up. But yeah, all right, man. Yeah. So just let me know, what do you guys want me to talk about, and I will definitely try to do that. And like I said, I'm gonna have some couple more guests up on my show. And oh yeah, so I did record an episode in Portland with Lung and Robert. I'm gonna post that up later. That was just more like a test run that I was doing. I didn't really introduce myself or just really talk about anything. Oh, not talk about anything, but we were just kind of rambling on about some random shit. But I might just post that up so you guys can just fucking listen to what we really talk about. But yeah, all right, man, this is Shooting Fadeaways, and I'm out. Peace.